Today on Fatty's Feast, we are going to be smoking up an entire pork loin to see if this piece of meat is possibly one of the most underrated barbecue delicacies available. Welcome in, everyone. I'm so happy to have you here today, and I hope you're all doing splendid. For those of you that are just joining us for the first time, my name is Josh. This channel is all about griddling and smoking, and my goal is to show you that with a little bit of time and love, you can make the best food you've probably ever eaten without leaving your patio or deck or wherever you grill. So pork loin is a very interesting cut of meat. Not many people think of this as a barbecue meat. A lot of people buy this to make into pork chops. If you do like pork chops and you haven't done that, I definitely recommend it. It's much cheaper than getting them pre-cut. But today we're just going to throw this bad boy on the smoker and see what happens. I got this particular one at Costco, and the neat thing about this is it was only $17.89, which comes out to $2.19 a pound. Don't pay attention to the date. It's been in my freezer. So this is an 8.17 pound pork loin. And honestly, I just want to see if this cheap cut of meat can be something special. Brisket prices are starting to come down a little bit. They're still a little expensive. It's like $4.49 a pound. So in the last year, they've dropped about $1, but I want to get them closer to $4 a pound before I make another one. So I decided, why not pull this thing out of my freezer and we'll see if we can make some good barbecue with it. Now, as far as the prepping goes, I'm just going to look over this thing to see if there's anything that's weird sticking out. I'm going to cut that off. I'm not going to touch any of the fat or score it or anything because pork loins are already pretty lean. I'm going to use my plain yellow mustard as a binder, coat the entire thing. Then I'm going to evenly cover in sea salt, followed by Meatheads Memphis style rub. I've used this rub in countless other videos featuring pork on the smoker. I'll put a link to the recipe if you're interested in making it at home. And this right here is what you're going to end up with. A nice finished, seasoned, evenly coated loin. This is a long piece of meat, so I'm just going to sort of throw it diagonally or something like that. One thing I'm going to do that I don't typically do when I barbecue, I'm going to throw a probe right in the center of this thing, right about there. And then over here I also have my water pan. So this cook is going to be a little different than normal. We're not really slow cooking this. We're not waiting for it to get fork tender or anything like that. We're not waiting for a temperature of 207 degrees or whatever you do for a brisket or ribs or a pork butt. We're actually just going to cook this to safe internal temperature, which for pork is 145. That may come as a surprise to some of you people out there who have grown up eating dry pork. That's because it used to be 165. They lowered it to 145, and trust me, it's delicious. Way more delicious than anything I ever had as a kid. Sorry, Mom. So phase one of this cook, as we always do, we're going to keep our temperatures low. We're going to try to build some smoke flavor on this loin. I'm going to shoot between 200 and 225-ish. And the reason I put that probe in there is because I'm just waiting for it to get to a temperature of like 120-ish, and it's not going to take too long. Right now it's at 38. I would say in an hour and a half, 2 hours, we will be at 120. So we'll maintain a clean fire, maintain these temps about 200 to 225, and we'll come back in about 2 hours. All right, just over 2 hours in, we've reached an internal temp of 120. We're just over it, about 121. Let's take a look. We're looking good. I did rotate it at one point, about halfway through, so we have even cooking on each side. Let's take an internal temp using my ThermoWorks. So we're at about 123 on that side. We're a little hotter on this end, 134. So I am going to pick this up because I'm an idiot. I'm going to flip it. It's actually not that hot. I'll throw this probe back in this pre-designated hole I have. And as you can see right here, I did make this little heat shield because it was pretty hot. Our fire's been burning okay. Our coal bed's burned down a lot, so what I'm going to do now, I'm going to put some big pieces on. I'm going to build a little box sort of thing. I don't know, really. That's starting to catch, so we can close this down. We'll just let it do its thing. So as always, it's a pain in the ass to have your temps cooler, which we were going between 200 and 225. Honestly, I was probably between 180 and 240 half the time, 240 on the hot end. And that's fine because this isn't a long cook. We don't have to burn the cleanest fire, but we definitely wanted the fire to be a little bit cleaner as we were trying to get some smoke flavor on. We had a little bit of dirtiness. It's a little dirty right now because we just threw those logs on. But as time goes on and we bump those temperatures up, we are going to have naturally a cleaner fire. We're going to get these up to as close as I can to like 450, 475. We're trying to get a nice sear on this pork loin. So I'm going to try my best to get these temperatures up as hot as I can. It's going to take a lot of wood, a lot of time, and a lot of love. But we're going to make it happen. It's actually only probably going to take another hour before this thing's done. We're, like I said, we're just cooking to 145. So that's all we're going to film out here. I'll bring it in when it's done, and we'll give it a taste. There's Pickles. She's hungry. She wants some pork. Look at that face. What a beautiful cat. Cheers. Another amazing cook done. We have our pork loin. It looks beautiful. It's oozing with juices. This thing is covered, and I have a thing of juice in the sink too. I don't want to show you guys that because I don't want to make a mess. Let's cut into the middle of this thing and see what we got. So it's not as crispy. It's crispy on the edges, but it is a little tough to get that smoker up to, you know, an amazing degree of heat. So we're cooked to a good internal temp. Also know I did flip this halfway through. So look at that juice. Let's take a look here. For a lean piece of meat, that's really, really good. Look at that. Just gonna cut a little bit off here. Take a nice taste. I just want to see how, oh, that pulled apart very nicely. Guys, this ain't your mom's pork chop from 2000, before the USDA raised, or lowered, I should say lowered the temp. This is really good. This is flavorful. Obviously, we're not looking for fat render, but the seasoning on the outside makes a huge difference. It's nice and tender. It's cooked to perfection. And this took, I think after we raised the temp, it took about 2 hours, 45 minutes. So a very quick smoke and a very good product. Believe me, probably the best we've ever had, if I were to guess. I mean, this is good. So I think what I'll do is, you know, we're going to eat some of this tonight, and then I might freeze some of this to have throughout the week. I don't know how Pickles is getting into the onions. I don't know how it would be if I, you know, took it and seared it. I'm not really sure. I actually want to take an end piece of this right here because this is all crispy and good. So I think that's really good. Even that, we tried to get a sear on this, but the crispiness, the smoke flavor, everything is phenomenal. I'm really happy. So anyway, thank you so much for tuning into another episode of Fatty's Feast. If you like what you saw, I really appreciate it. If you like the video, it's free. It takes you 2 seconds. Just go down to that thumbs up, press it. Leave a comment of things you want to see on our next videos. I really, really love hearing from you guys. I love hearing your ideas, and I love hearing your thoughts. If you smoke a pork loin and you see this video, let me know how yours turned out, if you have any suggestions to make it better. And until next time, everyone, stay safe, stay happy, stay healthy. Most of all, stay tough.